All right, first of all, this is relevant to the ongoing monitoring and removal of evidence by the people of the state who are sex offenders molesting with light. They're monitoring while they're engaging in sexual assault and battery, while the entity is following from place to place, which is my evidence at the Ovid Family Community Library. They're engaged in what is on. You'll see in my pictures that I've been taking. The current time right now, as you can see, is 11:03 p.m. This is all tying together regarding surveillance on the video of the internet, on my device, and with regard to where I am at, where the people of the state are gang stalking at the gas stalls in the specific environment, which includes the fake moon over my head. This is indeed a psychopath stalking under this specific environment with the entity maintaining surveillance. Stalking at the corner. They're doing that while the fake sun's over me during the day, and they're stalking in the path with light, committing sexual assault and battery. With, by the way, very clear that the entity is stalking while the gang members of the Ontario Police are stalking in helicopter following me from the Ovid Family Community Library. This is prison right here, as you understand. That's a sexual assault and battery, and it's also prison. 6K U.C. 116, and these are cockroaches. As you're looking at the terrorists that they are, they're removing the evidence as I publish them on the internet. They're removing it while the entity follows me to the ARCO gas station. And the sex offenders are just like this, coming from every angle, surrounding you and engaging in what is removal of the evidence in real time. And this is where you have this ongoing psychopathic conduct, stalking you, molesting you, terrorizing you with the police, surrounding you as an entity in the specific environment and not addressing you. This is mentally ill conduct. It's psychopathic. License 9CYK937 is Ontario Police that are stalking me from place to place. And you are looking at the evidence of the fake moon over me at the Ovid Family Community Library, which is what I have on the record here. I'm going to go ahead and capture this because this is relevant to the evidence that's removed off of X. This is relevant to the entity that is indeed going to federal prison for engaging what is monitoring me with the intent to obstruct justice while I publish today, which is on X, the plethora of license plates identifying the people of the state. While I'm doing this on X, after I create what is the evidence, which I'll show you as well. This is when the entity immediately begins stalking by helicopter conspicuously. This is the communication of a threat under the fake moon, 9:49 p.m. The fake moon is remaining over me right now, where this gang stalker in furtherance of murder, sexual assault and battery with the entity stalking by helicopter, okay? Those are the co-conspirators of murder. License 9CYK937, maintaining ongoing presence, surveillance at the corner at Lemon and East Street, doing so while the entity is maintaining the environment around me and they're maintaining presence. ARCO, this is the RICO case against ARCO, and it's the RICO case against the entity, and these are the terrorist Ontario Police who are being removed from their positions while they are engaged in the pattern of conduct. They're not getting any 401k, they're not getting any retirement, they're not getting any benefits. They are being relieved as terrorists, and they're also being federally prosecuted. They're going to prison for kidnapping, and this is the surveillance that they're engaging in, and they are still doing so, and then having the audacity to remove my evidence that is published on the internet, which is tying into showing the correlation regarding the stalking that I'm subject to in relevant position, meaning where I'm physically located. This is Ontario Police right here flying over my head at 9:49 p.m., where the fake moon is over my head at 9:49 p.m. And this is relevant to the video that I'm creating, which I will show you here. I created the video, and then the entity is engaging in removing the post that I placed on the internet. So I want to show that video. This is the video that I created, and I published the link from the Google Drive to access it. That timestamp is relevant to while the Ontario Police Department are at the same time pursuant to knowledge, which is pursuant to surveillance that's underway on the internet, which third-party license 9CYK937 is sharing in that criminal surveillance on the internet. No warrant or probable cause for this third party, for these demons that are engaging in sexual assault and battery as I am publishing on the internet. Sex offenders that are molesting me in real time are doing so pursuant to surveillance that's underway on the internet. On the internet is providing what is a timestamp regarding what it is that I'm doing at the moment that I'm doing it, and the only posts that are online are what is conspicuously present, in other words, is the post that I placed on all three platforms, X, on Threads, and I put it on Facebook. And it's on Threads and it's on Facebook, but on X is where I expounded upon the fact that the entity is simultaneously stalking me by helicopter at the moment that I'm publishing the license plates of the people of the state. This is when the entity begins terrorism, just like you saw on video this morning, by the way, at 10 o'clock by helicopter. under the fake sun, tonight stalking by helicopter under the fake moon, which is over me, the same person who is documenting it. And this is the entity that's committed series of kidnappings, defaming my character while plotting on my life in order to get away with stealing money from me. And this is what third-party license 9CYK937 is engaging in conspicuously, and as a psychopath, not addressing you, not looking at you, acting like you are, that's supposed to be the act. That same conduct is a threat to American citizens while they are at the same time removing the evidence off the internet. That is what is conspicuously present here. But I will show you what is the evidence that I absolutely placed on the internet. And this is it here at an hour ago, specifically, where I'm putting the video, and this is the Googling, this is what I put on X, and I put it on all 3 sites. So I want to put this in this video because the Ontario police are going to federal prison. I mean it. Every time that they're stalking under the fake sun, because that's what they're doing, I document the license plates, they're going to federal prison. The demons that are stalking me by helicopter while they're keeping me under surveillance and then removing my evidence like I'm documenting now, they're going to federal prison. When they're engaging in what Craig Hazelwood is doing under the fake moon and engineer light, molesting, sexual assault and battery. And then you're claiming the municipal code is the reason why you are conspicuously stalking, when in fact you're engaged in 24-hour surveillance down to what my vagina is engaging in the bathroom, to what I'm doing on the internet, which is where you are simultaneously stalking and threatening me with helicopter activity while removing my evidence off the internet. You're going to federal prison. The entities engaging in criminal summoning with the people of the state. And why do they have all this confidence while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct? Because the entities engaging in things such as removing evidence off the internet. All right, they're going to federal prison for this. And I am documenting the people of the state. So I'm going to go ahead and include this video right here. This is the entity that's engaging in. This is where I am at the Ovitt Family Community Library. I'm posting the link to the drive showing all the license plates of the people of the state who are indeed terrorists. And as I am doing that, the entity is simultaneously, which is what I'm taking a picture of, they're engaging in what is stalking by helicopter. Let me document here sexual assault and battery by license plate. This is a third-party female, the psychopathic behavior, 57077 Henry 3, engaging in that under the fake moon with real-time knowledge. And then they are also removing their license plates off the internet, off of X. And this is sexual violence that the Ontario police are engaging in by proxy. They're being disbanded. So I just want to be clear on that. And this is also relevant to what is being the entity that's engaged in the stalking with light conduct. They're going to be they're being diagnosed for a commitment. Stalking with light conduct is the psychopathic conduct. They're doing that. This is how they're sharing in what is trying to distract and harass and terrorize you so mad that you'll stop talking. They're going to be diagnosed. They're going to be committed with the stalking with light conduct. She's doing this under the fake moon. And she is the entity that's removing the evidence about her conspiring my murder off the internet with the entity that you see in this video stalking by helicopter. And they're doing this hundreds of times. This is mentally ill behavior, and they're going to facilities, mental facilities, for this very conduct, stalking with light, okay? This is P.O.C. And that's the Ontario police committing sexual assault and battery through the people of the state. And just to be clear, here are all my shadows. Whereas sex offenders committing what is relevant to the federal RICO case, stalking at a gas stall, psychopathic, stalking under a fake environment, a fake moon over my head, psychopathic, molesting with engineered light while you are engaging in surveillance and furtherance of murdering someone, moreover whom you don't know, and then you're supposed to be acting like you're not doing that, psychopathic. And this is a female. Let me go ahead and get this. This is the entity that's engaging in. This is surveillance that ARCO is providing, ARCO shares in, and ARCO's employees are engaging in, and Ontario Police Department. This is why they're being disbanded. This is a psychopath, and she's a homosexual predator. They're monitoring my vagina on behalf of the Ontario Police as well, and they are obsessed with my body, touching while they're engaging in the P.O.C. Okay? This is the entity that's engaged. Everything that she's saying is audible activity. This is the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C. Are you all right? This is the entity that's psychopathic. Everything that they're saying you're going to use because they're going to be placed in what are facilities regarding the mentally ill behavior of stalking with light. And this is the entity that's stalking by helicopter, psychopathic. They're all stalking together, psychopathic. Psychopathic. This is where the fake sun is rising over me. This is where the fake moon is over me at night. This is the same bus stop over here. This is relevant to the entity removing the evidence tonight. And I want to show you, I'm going to go back to this because this is the focus. All right, these are the demons that are sharing in what is the entity that is stalking by helicopter. Stalking by helicopter, as I document the people of the state, and then I publish the links to the video showing all the license plates stalking with the Ontario Police, the City of Ontario today, stalking in the path with light activity while the entity is simultaneously stalking by helicopter. This is upon my leaving Ovitt Family Community Library, and that fake moon remains over me while the population is stalking. That's speaking to what is stalking while the objects in the sky remain over me all day long, and they're molesting with light. that's an unlawful touching, sexual violence while you are stalking with the government that is using helicopters, and this is the entity that's engaged in that. While I publish on the internet and I speak to the fact that these are the demons that are engaged in what is sexual assault and battery, stalking with the Ontario police, who are engaged in that ongoing psychopathic pacing. This is the entity that's harassing and threatening me while I'm publishing their license plates on the internet. And the entities, again, they're incentivized to continuously sexually assault and batter, say psychopathic things such as, are you okay, as though you're the one with the problem. They're going into mental wards. Understand, you're analyzing the psychopathic behavior with regard to what is psychologically harmful, and that is supposed to criminally defame that target individual. They are being diagnosed with their malicious and psychopathic and delusional conduct. They're doing it in the face of the evidence, okay? The entities engaged in this with Ontario police, however, the Ontario police are going to prison. So I just want to go ahead and capture in this video. This is the entity. All of these third parties are engaging in stalking with the Ontario police. I'm capturing the helicopter. This is what I'm speaking to on the X platform, and this is the venue. I'm gonna put it up, I could repost it, but I'm capturing video of you seeing also the Ontario police stalking me by helicopter. They're doing so while the people of the state are maintaining surveillance at the ARCO. They're maintaining sexual assault and battery, and this is the entity that is following from place to place with the fake moon, stalking me by helicopter at the Ovid Family Community Library, where I'm posting, which you see on the bottom at 9:49 p.m., the post that is conspicuously absent, which I posted not just on X where it is absent, but I posted it also on Facebook, which is showing about an hour ago, and I also posted it on Threads. The entity is removing that, and I just want to be clear, the people of the state who I'm documenting by license plate, who are stalking as an entity, sharing a sexual assault and battery, sharing that audible activity that you hear, engaging in what is psychologically torturing you while sexually violating you, stalking you, conspiring your murder, harassing you, doing so with the government that uses helicopters and planes to do so, and then speaking to you as though you are the one with the problem. That's the entity that's conspiring your murder, okay? They're engaging, that is violence while they engage in that. While they engage in that behavior and they speak in that manner, that is violence. They're doing so while also removing the evidence about them off of the internet, and you're going to prison for this. This is why I'm capturing video of it. The Ontario police are going to prison. I'm capturing Gloria's, let me go ahead and get all of this in the video because this is what's happening. Gloria's Cochinas, they're sharing in the pattern of conduct, so is Starbucks. And I want to be clear, it's not limited to these videos, but these are the ones that are open right now. So the entity is under the guise of being at work, under the guise of picking up, oh, let me go see if Starbucks is open. It's not open, so I'm parking there. I'm going to the door. I'm going back to my car. I'm sitting at the front of the Starbucks. They're engaging in surveillance, stalking in the path. That's what they're doing at gas stalls, okay? That's what they're doing in the specific environment. Gloria's Cochinas, the entity is doing so. Union Pacific, they're monitoring. They're monitoring, and they are then removing their evidence off the internet. License 9TNT 939, and ARCO is being prosecuted for all of it. It's a federal RICO case, and it's a case against all of them for prison as well. That while the entity is stalking by helicopter, okay? That's P.O.C. The entity is engaged in that P.O.C. I want to be clear. This is 434 North Euclid Avenue. This is the evidence of the ongoing surveillance on the internet by the people of the state. You do not have privacy. They are engaged in what is obstruction of justice. This is what they do to American citizens who don't have the P.O.C. They come up missing. They end up dead. You don't see any evidence while they're engaged in surveilling every aspect of your life and surveilling you on the internet, keeping you in a bubble and containing that information. They're going to federal prison, okay? Playing stupid, speaking as though you're imagining things that's going to be used against them in court. They're going to be committed, and they're going to be going to federal prison. These are the demons that are stalking with impossible light, that are engaging in that audible activity. These are the same cockroaches, the same feces consumers that are stalking with light. You know how psychopathic they are. While they speak like that, they're going to be committed. They're going to prison. And the entity is stalking by helicopter, providing evidence against them, okay? That's what you're going to juxtapose the audible activity, the specific environment, and what it is that they're saying, how they're conducting themselves, and they're gang stalking. They're going to prison. They're going to federal prison. This is stalking with the Ontario Police, 9TNT 939. This one, are you okay? 57077H3. And they're removing the evidence off the internet tonight while they're gang stalking. Chevron is gang stalking, federal RICO case. Starbucks is gang stalking, federal RICO case. Ontario Police following me from Ovid Family Community Library to this location while I'm publishing their license plate. And this is exactly why I'm doing that. I'm going to put it back up. These are terrorists. They're enemies of the United States. And they have a very poor act regarding concealing gang stalking, which is not a secret. And they do so as customers engage in the P.O.C. They're not customers, they're terrorists. They're stalkers. And so are the Ontario Police that are going to be relieved of their positions. They're engaging in terrorism. Terrorists are not getting any 401k. They're not getting any retirement benefits. They're not getting $1. They're not getting a dime. They're going to leave with a criminal record, and they will never be involved in law enforcement. It's their fault that the people of the state are gang stalking me and furtherance of murder. They are not getting a penny. On top of that, they're going to prison for every act of criminal summoning, every act of psychological torture, stalking on the roads and the highways. I get their license, they're going to prison. That's what's happening here. They're stalking by helicopter, they're going to prison. This is P.O.C. This is relevant to Title 18 federal stalking, removal of the evidence off of X, while I'm documenting the people that say who don't want to be identified, but yet they want to conspire your murder and gang stalk you. Yeah, the two aren't happening at the same time. You're going on the internet and you're also going to be prosecuted. This is the P.O.C. These are the psychopaths that are engaging in that, and they're going to learn to watch their mouth because they're going to be diagnosed with their own audible activity while they're also stalking with light. They're all clowns and demons under the fake sun and the fake moon, and then they want to talk to you. That's Satan. Those are the, in fact, mentally ill. And they fill the population is filled with them. And they're working for currently a fake police department, the gang members. That's what they are. This is a gang, and they're engaged in criminal activity. This gang violence is speaking to what is a lost endeavor. Ontario Police, as of January 31st, 2026, is still stalking. All right? They are still stalking. So I want to make sure that this is understand everything. All the money that ARCO is making is criminal surveillance. It's relevant to criminal surveillance. The entity's engaging in that, and this is relevant to, forgive the screen because you can hear the audio. I'm doing a screen recording, so that's why you're looking, but I turn the camera on right now because it's relevant to what I'm stating and seeing. This, I wanted to get this. This is more, this is more relevant, more probative evidence. In my opinion, I want you to see where I'm at. I want you to see the environment. I want you to see who's stalking as I document them, and then they're removing their evidence. That's the unlawful invasion of federal case. They're delusional. You're going to prison for all these things: obstruction. You're going to prison for being a gang stalker with the police. You're going to federal prison for any means of criminal defamation. You're committing sexual assault and battery while you're being documented during a federal case. The entity has no respect for the law. And that's because their criminal conduct is shared with the gang stalking police department. That's why. With the gang stalking courthouses. That's why. With the gang stalking sheriff's departments. That's why. And they're going to federal prison. They're going to learn. And they're going to be deported. They're going to learn. They're going to learn. This is why this is lawlessness right here. And that is the necessary mandated consequence. Federal prison. Federal prison. Removing the evidence off the internet? Absolutely not. Under no circumstances. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. I placed it on all three websites. I'm going to publish it again. I'm publishing it right now. And this is the evidence that was removed. And so this is the evidence that I'm going to put on the internet regarding what the Ontario police are doing. So they keep on stalking by helicopter while they think that they're slick and they remove my evidence off the X platform. Okay, I put it on all three platforms, and I also documented them stalking me while I was in the course of putting it up on the internet, which they are engaging in simultaneously, not under any circumstances of a coincidence. It's pursuant to a pattern of conduct, criminal surveillance, which is relevant to the federal RICO case against the government. Okay, nobody that's being prosecuted, which is the entire Ontario Police Department, is getting relief from their job with any form of compensation whatsoever. They're not police officers, and that's exactly what is the point of this investigation and this federal case. I have already proved that they're not police officers, that they are not engaged in the execution of any duty. You are not simultaneously engaged in criminal summoning, and criminal surveillance, and then also trying to maintain some duplicitous identity, some duplicitous means of identifying yourself and being recognized under the law as an employee of a police department. No, you are not. No, you are not. One trumps the other. One is speaking to what you are doing at all times. What overshadows and supersedes everything, which is criminal surveillance at any point in time. And they are still engaged in surveilling and furtherance of murder. The Ontario police are gang stalking on the roads and the highways, engaged in sexual assault and battery, and it's their fault that the people of the state are doing that. They're doing it right now. That's not headlights. They're monitoring right now, just like the demons that are doing so coming to the ARCO gas station, which is what I've been publishing. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:22 p.m. at 434 North Euclid Avenue. And this is indeed the specific environment. This is the light activity. You're going to listen to everything that was said. How they're talking like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Is she okay? That's criminal defamation. That's defamatory audible activity. These are poor actors. These are the same demons engaged in criminal summoning. These are the same demons stalking with light. And guess what they are? Together. Tracy Banks, Ontario Police. You think this is a joke? These demons are going to prison. That's Tracy Banks. That's Ontario Police. The ones that committed kidnapping on May 29, 2025. P.O.C. 9HUZ740, and that's license 1614296. I could not make this up. They're going to prison together. This is a vehicle 1614296. P.O.C. And this is Tracy Banks, and this is under what is the fake moon. And this is under no circumstances helping her case for stealing my identity. Stealing my identity and also engaging in the pattern of conduct. When you are engaging what is theft of my identity, lying about being my biological mother, conspiring against me with the Ontario Police Department, who are stalking by helicopter at her apartment day and night under a fake sun and the fake moon, engaging in what is a traffic stop, which is criminal summoning together while they are both gang stalking. You're looking at the mental illness that is shared by the demon possessed together. And by the way, they're both stalking, Ontario Police and Tracy Banks. And I want to be clear, they are both lying regarding what is Tracy Banks' actual relation to me, not a biological mother, stalking with light, doing so while they are engaged in that P.O.C. And this is no distraction either. These are the entity that are leading in what is a conspiracy to commit murder, and they literally just engage in what is the absence of no coincidences right here. Tracy Banks is going to prison, and so are the demons of the Ontario Police Department. But I'm glad, because this isn't speaking to anything other than what is an unlawful threat. This is gang stalking, which is what they've been doing at her apartment and everywhere else. It's not including everybody, it's not excluding everybody else. They're putting Tracy Banks. Tracy Banks has not been gang stalking me by myself. What's going on at Ovid Family Community Library with the Ontario Police Department? What's going on at Economy Inn with the Ontario Police Department? What's going on at American Inn? What's going on at what is the Ramada by Wyndham with the Ontario Police Department? What's going on at the Ontario Airport Inn with the Ontario Police Department? What's going on at the bus stop? Tracy Banks ain't sleeping at the bus stop with the Ontario Police Department. What's going on when I'm at the Starbucks with the Ontario Police Department? Bringing in Tracy Banks is not a distraction. She is a gang leader. She's going to prison, and the Ontario Police have been gang stalking the entire time. They literally just did this on video, and that's fine. This is the P.O.C. They've been gang stalking together, exactly, and they're going to prison. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that engaged in. I'm glad that they're bringing all parts together, because this is the entity that is indeed fully exposed as being the terrorist, and they're all going to be posted on the internet. This is not, I want to be clear, Tracy Banks is not more guilty or less guilty than the third parties. This is what you need to understand right here. Because this is relevant to, focus on Tracy Banks. No. Focus on 9TPG 845, a co-conspirator of murder, gang stalking in the same way with the Ontario Police, in the same environment, sharing in the same criminal conspiracy. Okay? I just happen to know this demon's name. I don't have to know their name. They're in the same exact specific environment, and it is no distraction. This is a system that I'm prosecuting, and it's not individualized to Tracy Banks. It's a system, and they're all engaged in that system together. And they're engaging in criminal surveillance, as you've seen the Ontario Police engage in criminal summoning on an ongoing basis, and they are removing evidence off the internet because the people in state who are gang stalkers targeting with Tracy Banks are engaging in that, and the evidence that that is removed offline is what is speaking to that. This is the P.O.C. This is speaking to what is a comprehensive system, and this is very, I just want to be clear, very unhelpful for the entity that's engaging in that. This Tracy Banks is what is relevant to the entity's motive to target, to steal money from me, steal my identity, which the Ontario Police share in, which is relevant to the state of California, by the way, not just the Ontario Police Department. What is LAPD doing in Los Angeles at my apartment complex? What the people of the state are doing, stalking on the roads and the highways. In every other county, Orange County, Los Angeles, I've already proven this case. You are not distracting from 9TPG 845, that's gang stalking in the same way that Tracy Banks is. And they just provided you what is a template for understanding how you're going to prosecute in every state, how you're going to prosecute in any county. That's an entity that's engaged in sexual assault and battery. That's a sex offender, and he's pacing back and forth to Tracy's vehicle. Monitoring, a demon, license 16142961040, prison. That's P.O.C. All right, Tracy Banks, in other words, is going to federal prison, and so is every other minion, monitoring my vagina all day long with the Ontario Police Department. That's the pattern of conduct. These are the demons that thought that they could defame my character together, and this is showing you how psychopathic they are. Tracy Banks isn't coincidentally driving to the corner. You see how she's driving off, and she's engaging in that pattern of conduct. This is the entity that's engaging in what is gang stalking on an ongoing basis. That's the P.O.C. It is currently 11:27 p.m. I want you to see that, because that's the entity that's engaging in what is conspiring against my character, engaging in what is gang stalking, doing so with the people of the state, removing their evidence off the internet, and doing so in concert with that same matter, adding Tracy Banks to the same exact P.O.C. because they're monitoring with the police while they commit that traffic stop, which is criminal summoning, 9TPG 845 and 9PNN 670. That's the pattern of conduct. The entity is engaging in what is relevant to psychological torture. Tracy Banks is sharing in what is conspiring against me. That's already known. That's already known. So I just want to be clear. The entity is acting maliciously as one, stalking by helicopter, doing so while you're then engaging in what is no coincidence. Tracy Banks wants to include herself in the entity that is hostile to being exposed. That's fine. Nobody ever stated that she's not even a mother. She's not even my mother. She's a liar. Okay, she's a co-conspirator of murder, and the Ontario police share in that. And these demons are hostile, and they are not controlling a narrative. They're also not controlling the ways in which this prosecution is going and the ways in which it has grown to show what's even larger than what the city of Ontario is doing against me. It's showing what is a system that all of the people of the state share in. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently, again, 11:28 p.m. That's the entity that's engaging what is adding in that criminal summoning with Tracy Banks at the end of the video. After I'm showing you what is relevant, that the system is underway. Tracy Banks utilized the system to try to steal. Tracy Banks is a third party, merely whose name I know. Okay, this is the entity that's engaged in that pattern with the Ontario police, which is merely understanding the ways in which the system operates. They commit kidnappings and murders while they are being engaged in what is surveillance with the people of the state. So you're not talking about what is individualized. Tracy Banks amongst these third parties, they're engaged in that together. And that's federal prison, I want to be clear. 9PNN670, federal prison. License 9TPG845, federal prison. And they do so with impunity while then removing the evidence as I put it on the internet. Because they're gang stalking together. And including Tracy Banks and criminal summoning is not removing the weight off of the people of the state at all. I just want to make sure that that's clear, because this is showing evidence which is speaking to what is not individualized. It's speaking to a system. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is currently 11:29 p.m. at 434 North Euclid Avenue, and this is relevant to the federal RICO case, not just against ARCO, like I stated. They're engaging in that as a statewide pattern of conduct. Every business is engaging in what is criminal surveillance. That's the bigger picture regarding what Tracy Banks and the City of Ontario, Ontario Police, and the people of the state have been caught doing. It's speaking to what is surveillance, which is nationwide. Okay, that's what's relevant with regard to having a traffic stop and including Tracy Banks that I don't talk to, but she knows exactly where I'm at, because you know the Ontario police are stalking, and you also know that Tracy Banks is stalking just like the people of the state are stalking, and they decided to, in the midst of this video, engage in criminal summoning right here on tape. And that's relevant for prosecuting the same exact entity, the people of the state, removing the evidence off the internet. P.O.C.